just about sailing. This is the second one, and not the last, in December. So this is kind of just going to be a few little bits and pieces jobs. I had hoped to have finished the washboards, which I have with me. Now Lucy has finished sanding these. I'd scraped them, she sanded them, and my plan is to do an epoxy coat and then varnish, but that's going to have to happen in January. So let's just have a quick look at Lucy's final preparations of this. Right, I just had a whole piece with Lucy and I forgot to press the video button, so she is finishing off the washboards on a cold day. There is a little bit of sunshine, but it's kind of a... Why didn't you put the thing over there if the sun shines it? I don't, it won't make any difference with it.
It's quite nice.
She's wearing her shark leggings. Yeah. And apparently the earbuds that I bought her for Christmas are hanging around her neck. Yeah. And she's been very, very good with your safety apparatus, with your goggles on.
I like my eyes and I like vision.
That's good. So this is the fiddly bit doing in here, isn't it? That's really...
I'm going to show this again because I'm still proud of this.
Go on then.
This is my fiddly bit sander device.
Yeah.
You just wrap sanding stuff around anything you can find.
I did the scraping, but then I gave up when it got to the difficult bits.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So yeah, hopefully before Christmas we will get to I'll get the washboards. I'm going to epoxy them and then I'm going to varnish them. And what was your comment about why you want these replaced?
Because at the moment we have danger washboards up on the boat, which I don't like.
Yeah, let's have a look at the danger washboards. I think these are great. This is my safety. This is to stop people breaking into the boat. They'll lose a finger if they do. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, these are the temporary washboards that I did ages ago. And on the edge here, where there was a bit going over, this is all now broken off. They've lasted remarkably well. This is really quite sharp, so when you push this in, if you get it wrong, you can lose a finger or three. And it freaks Lucy out a little bit. Right, the other thing that's happened is, I said last time, a lot of people watch this channel just for the Chinese diesel heater stuff, is I wanted to put the water trap on, which I've done, and it's worked out, and I'm very happy with it. It's worked out absolutely fine. What didn't work out so well is I actually wanted to put some insulating tape around part of the exhaust. And I think I got very cheap insulating tape and I had to take it off. So let's have a quick look at this one. So here's one of these supposedly small jobs on a boat, and it's to fit this, which is the water trap. So this is basically a pipe with a hole in it and several coils of copper which you fill with water. And basically what happens is that the exhaust goes through the pipe. You put this at the lowest point, goes through the pipe, and if there's any water that pools, it drips into here. So the water can slowly sort of turn around and drip out, but the pressure, well, there's hardly any pressure of the exhaust going through, is not going to be able to push the water out. Very, very clever design. But the pain of it is that the lowest point is this bit. I've taken this off. This goes to the silencer here, and this comes from the diesel heater, and I kind of want the thing to go in about there. So what I decided to do was take all the exhaust off, and replace it at once. And I've actually cut, using this as a model, I've actually cut a couple of new bits. So let's just put that together and see what that looks like. So there we go. That's kind of what it's going to look like. I've actually altered it a little bit so that where this comes down, it kind of moves away from the heater a little bit. And of course the key thing is that this bottom bit needs to be parallel or straight, because the water is going to slosh about there. And there is quite a lot of condensation and water that comes out of the exhaust, but I'm not going to go into that because it's more chemistry than physics, and because I stayed awake in my physics lessons, I didn't stay awake in my chemistry lessons, so chemistry is just magic as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, note that I'm using proper clamps, which you always should on exhaust, particularly if you're going to get these stronger exhausts. These are really proper exhausty type clamps. And I'm also using some exhaust cement, which I had used before, and it is good because it took me a long time. I had to saw some of the old exhaust off, and I've even this bit. This goes from the silencer to the outside of the boat, and that's quite a long bit, isn't it? And what I want here, because this is well away from the walls of the boat, this is going to be the heat dissipation, so that the air is as cool as possible before it goes out of the boat. And what I'm going to do, and this was partly as a suggestion from somebody who wrote a comment, so please do write a comment, so do listen to them, is I'm actually going to lag. You have to screw the thing in, but I'm going to lag this because this is slightly nearer to the hull of the boat and so on. So I'm not going to show you me doing that because it's basically just me putting this together and putting lagging on it. So I'll come back to you in a second when I've done this. So here's the before, simple piece of pipe, and here is the after. So I've got the water strap on there. These clamps you can see here, these are proper exhaust ones. These are just stainless Jubilee clips to keep the heatproof wrap on, and that's the only wrap I'm going to have. Right, so this is literally going to be impossible to film, but what I've got is a tube which is slightly too big with water in it. Can you see the water level there? So if I, whoops, I messed up already. If I keep the levels of the water the same, if I clamp around there, I should be able to fill this up with water. And I have. Fabulous. I don't know if that was clear, but it worked, that's all I'm saying. And the physics is sound. Right, so this is where it goes through into the locker, and I can't see this, so I hope I'm feeling the right thing. It curves around and there, and obviously I've put the curve up there so the water doesn't get in. You can see that the exhaust hopefully is not yet clamped onto the side, so there's going to be a few modifications. There's going to be a sort of a wooden bulkhead put at the back here to seal the locker off completely from the bilge. And yeah, now my next task, because it's slightly tight in here, is to figure out if I can actually get out of here. Well, if I don't, have a nice Christmas, and I shall spend it tucked up in an engine room. Right, so this is a bit, possibly a little bit clearer. This is inside the locker. I'm leaning through the locker lid. That's where the inlet comes down. It loops right up. And that's where it comes out. And very similar with the inlet for the combustion chamber, which this is slightly temporary. Also loops up so water can't get in. And that's all a little bit delicate, so I'm going to replace that with the stainless steel stuff, which I've got some left over. So right, hopefully you can see that. I've actually right, so the engines, I've just I just switched this off. There was quite a significant, didn't film, there was quite a significant amount of sort of smoke, fumes, smell coming off, and this is actually discoloured a little bit, so I think I've actually got some cheap heat protector here, so I'm going to take that off and redo it. I might redo that with some proper stuff later. I've got similar but sort of thicker and more substantial stuff on the exhaust from the actual engine. I've never had any problems with this at all, so I think I just had a duff. But I like the idea of actually putting some heat proofing around there, but I haven't had any before, so I'm going to take that off, check that it's all cooled down, and run the engine up just to check there's no leaks. Sorry, run the heater up just to check there's no leaks. Take two. I've just taken all that stuff off. Quite easy in situ, but it does mean I've had to ruin some of these Jubilee clips, so I'm sure that's refixing. And I've just switched the heater back on. And it probably doesn't like being switched on and off so quickly, but hey ho. So I think it was a good idea to wrap the heat stuff around here, and I can't remember, I can't even tell you what this is because I can't remember where I got it from. I got two lots, and I chose to use this one. I don't know where the other one is, but even after, if you can see this, even after not being on for very long, it's kind of gone a brownish colour. Does that show up? I'm not sure. And it was definitely smoking. And that's just not something I like to see. I know there is some that really sort of that thick black stuff that you can get, that I think you soak it in water and wrap round. It's really horrible. You have to wear gloves to do it. I should have kind of done that, and obviously now I've installed everything, it's going to be a bit more difficult to do that. And the other small project, which I did, and I did this before I did the condensation experiments, is I actually put in a solar powered fan, a vent, to sort of suck the air out and keep the circulation going. Unfortunately, I use this control for the video, and you press it and it beeps, and you press it again and I think it beeps twice or it beeps once. But basically I got the beeps the wrong way around, so I was actually switching the camera off when I wanted to film and switching it on when I well anyway, let's have a look at this. Let's see if I can grab some clips together just to show you this thing that I've put on. This is slightly smaller than the one I'm replacing it with, which is a shame, but only slightly. Not the roundest hole I've ever seen, but still I'm sure my new one won't be. Right, and I say this a lot, but this is going to be a temporary fix, so I'm just going to clean that up a bit, cut this slightly bigger, and see where we go from there. So here's the thing about this. Just around where my thumb is, just where my thumb is there, that's the on-off switch, and to get to it you have to push your fingers through the blades. So if I click this on, there's a nice bit of suction there, which is about 20 meters cubed per hour, which is about the volume of Serenity in total. Now this is the thing that really amuses me, because if I want to switch it off, I have to poke my finger back through the blade. No, I'm joking, it didn't hurt at all, but I just think what a lovely bit of design work that is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it on. So supposedly that will charge up from the sunlight, and the battery, even if there's no sun, should keep it going for 30 odd hours. I mean, it doesn't feel like a huge amount of air, but it is somehow air, so until I find something better, that will do. And the other thing, and this is very exciting, because it's always exciting when there's a knock at the door and there's a parcel, and I got a parcel and I'm going to do an unboxing, which I don't normally do. But this is a project which will happen as soon as it gets sunny, and this is absolutely key, this is absolutely vital. Without this, I don't think I could go out sailing again. So very, very, very excited about this. This is probably the single thing that's going to make the biggest difference when I get the boat back on the water. I'm quite excited about this. This has got fragile marked all over it, and it must weigh it weighs 33 kilograms, so I'm hoping this is a year's supply of felt pens. But this is actually my Christmas present. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing it with a knife, it's because I've left all my knives in my toolbox. Oh, I think there's a clue here. Recognise that shape? Aha! And a winch handle. Why would I need a winch handle? CD. A very hefty box with some very hefty terminals sticking out of it. Wow. And this is heavy. This is seriously heavy. Oh my goodness me. And there we go. It is a Lofrans X2 vertical windlass with capstan. At the boat show, after the boat show video, I said I was deciding whether or not to get the capstan version or not, and I thought, you know what, if I don't get the capstan one I will regret it. I'd rather have it there as a backup. This could be used for lifting the dinghy on and off the boat and warping and all sorts of things. So wow, that's this is the 1000 watt motor, I think. Yep. And that's a serious piece of kit. I'm going to have to shove something on the back of the boat to equalise the weight up. So it will be a while before I actually install this, because I need to do some modifications to the front deck, but there we go. That is, let's see if I can pick this up. Very happy with that. So there you go. Not felt pens, but just exciting. Going to get the washboard sorted out after in the new year. I can do that. I can do that indoors. I don't need the temperature for this. So oh, hang on. Bear with me. Do I need to sign for it? Okay, thanks. Interesting. Christmas comes early. I wonder what this can be. So yeah, as I say, it's nice when you get a knock at the door and there's a parcel coming. This is not exactly a windlass, is it? So what have we? Oh, good grief! Unbelievable. Thank you, Stadler. I assume that's who it's from. This is not only felt pens, but my favourite felt pens. How do I open them? Here it is. And there's actually 20 of them rather than 10. Right, okay then. So what we can do here is I need to do my what colour shall I use? I've got about 5 different blues. I need to work out my energy requirements. So let's imagine amp hours are like a sort of a water container, and the amount you can get in there... Whoa. Let's stop this now. This is the executive series like producer of this channel. Of the batteries. He is not allowed unsupervised access to felt pens, but we will have to do the energy requirements and batteries and all that stuff at some point, but we'll do that later. I won't say Merry Christmas yet to you, because there will be a musical extravaganza. I was hoping to do a live stream, but that hasn't quite worked out. But what we're going to do is I've booked some video conference time from a studio in Los Angeles, and I've said too much already. You just have to wait and see that. So anyway, until then, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. We're looking at a solar array on here, which we can do. Oh, that's a different colour. I've never had that colour before. That sort of brown colour.